Hi, and welcome to Drupal Brief. This is an AI-generated brief of another video, podcast, or blog post. If you want to learn more about what's being discussed here, then please go check out the source. This podcast is produced by the team at Drupal Forge. We would love to create more AI-generated briefs like this. Please contact Salim Lakhani on Drupal Slack or LinkedIn and let him know what else you want us to cover. Oh, and if you have not tried Drupal Forge yet, you're missing out. You'll be able to do twice as much in half the time. So go check it out. Okay, that's it. Make sure to click subscribe. And here we go.
All right, so you want to become a Drupal recipes whiz.
Fast.
And fast.
Yeah.
We'll hop in because we are diving right into Talking Drupal episode 470.
Wow.
A podcast that's got developers, strategists.
A big one and all around
Drupal enthusiasts.
Yeah. Today's focus recipes. Think of these as pre-packaged sets of instructions
Okay.
to configure parts of your Drupal website.
Gotcha.
No coding experience needed.
Yeah, it's like having a blueprint for specific parts of your site,
Interesting.
allowing you to implement these complex features without writing a single line of code.
So it's more about clicking through menus and settings in the Drupal admin interface.
Exactly. Recipes automate those clicks and configurations,
Okay.
making site building more efficient and less error-prone.
Less prone to those errors.
Yes.
Now, I've heard whispers about features in Drupal 7 being a precursor to this.
Right.
Were they essentially trying to accomplish the same thing?
Yeah, you're on the right track. Okay.
Features were a powerful tool for configuration management in Drupal 7. However, they had a steep learning curve
Okay.
and could become quite complex, especially for larger projects.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Recipes aim to simplify this process,
Okay.
making configuration management more accessible to a wider range of users.
So less of a headache for developers and more user-friendly for those who aren't coding experts.
Absolutely.
But hold on. This Talking Drupal episode mentioned that features might evolve to generate recipes.
Yes.
Now that sounds intriguing.
Yeah.
How would that even work?
So imagine a scenario where you could define your configurations
Okay.
through a familiar features-like interface, and then automatically generate a corresponding recipe based on those settings.
So features could be like a recipe building factory.
Exactly.
Could this potentially lead to even more complex and powerful recipes than what's currently possible?
Absolutely. It opens up a ton of possibilities.
Right.
For instance, developers could create intricate site configurations using the familiar features interface.
Okay.
And then share those configurations as easily deployable recipes with the wider Drupal community.
Okay. I'm starting to see the potential here.
Yeah.
But for someone completely new to recipes, where would you recommend they start?
The key is to start small and focus on specific functionalities.
Okay.
Don't try to build a recipe for an entire website right out of the gate.
So start small.
Yes. Instead, focus on something simple.
Okay.
A content type with specific fields, or a customized view for displaying content.
Okay.
Drupal.org has a great recipes cookbook with examples and documentation.
I learn best by doing.
Sure.
What would be a practical example of a snack-sized recipe that someone could tackle as a first project?
A great example from the Talking Drupal episode is the recipe for creating a remote video YouTube Lite embed.
Okay.
It tackles the common issue of slow page load times caused by embedded YouTube videos.
Right.
The recipe modifies the default embed settings to improve performance without sacrificing functionality.
So it's a targeted solution to a specific problem.
Exactly.
It seems like a good way to get your feet wet without getting overwhelmed.
For sure.
Now let's break down the anatomy of a basic recipe.
Okay.
What are the key components we need to understand?
A Drupal recipe lives in a dedicated recipes folder.
Okay.
Note that it's singular, not plural,
Recipes folder.
which sits outside the web root of your project.
Gotcha.
The core of the recipe is the recipe.yaml file.
Okay.
This file defines the recipe's name, a brief description, the type of recipe it is, and most importantly, what it actually does.
So recipe.yaml is like the instruction sheet telling Drupal what to do.
Exactly.
What other elements are involved?
Just like your Drupal modules and themes,
Okay.
recipes utilize a composer.json file to manage dependencies, and then you've got the content folder.
Okay.
This allows you to pre-populate content as part of the recipe, which is particularly useful for demos or quality assurance purposes.
So you could create a recipe that not only sets up the structure of a website,
Yes.
but also populates it with sample content.
Correct.
That's pretty neat.
It is.
It's all starting to click now.
Good.
However, the Tug and Drupal episode did mention a few potential gotchas with recipes.
They did.
What should we be aware of?
One important point is that recipes are very strict about configuration validation.
Stricter validation.
Even more so than Drupal core.
I'm curious, why would recipes need stricter validation than Drupal core itself?
It often comes down to ensuring stability and preventing configuration conflicts.
Okay.
Drupal core's validation rules are designed to be somewhat flexible to accommodate a wide range of use cases.
Right.
However, recipes are designed to be portable and reusable across different Drupal sites,
Okay.
potentially with varying configurations. The stricter validation helps guarantee that a recipe will function consistently regardless of the specific setup of the target site.
That makes sense. So it's like having a more rigorous quality control process
Exactly.
to make sure the recipe works as expected in different environments. What other gotchas should we keep in mind?
One key thing to remember is that recipes can't delete things.
Okay.
You can't use them to undo configurations that are already in place.
So no sheet troll plus C
No Ctrl plus C.
or undo button with recipes.
Exactly.
You bring up a good point. Can you give a specific example of where this limitation might come into play?
Let's say you've applied a recipe to create a content type with several fields.
Okay.
Later, you decide that one of those fields is no longer necessary.
Mm-hmm.
You can't simply use a recipe to remove that field.
Okay.
You'll need to manually delete it through the Drupal interface.
So planning and testing your recipes thoroughly beforehand is crucial.
Absolutely.
No going back once the dish is served, so to speak?
Exactly. And it's important to be mindful of dependencies between recipes.
But dependencies got it.
If recipe A relies on something created by recipe B, they need to be applied in the correct order to avoid errors.
Anything else we should watch out for?
While Drupal core itself comes with a set of recipes,
Okay.
they tend to be quite complex.
Right.
They're great for reference, but they might not be the best starting point for building your own recipes from scratch.
So start simple, understand the limitations, and be mindful of dependencies.
Yes.
Good advice for life in general, really.
For sure.
Now let's talk about testing. How can we make sure our recipes are behaving as intended?
Testing for idempotency is crucial.
Idempotency.
Can you apply your recipe multiple times without breaking things?
Okay.
That's the essence of idempotency.
Gotcha.
You should also test your recipe on a fresh Drupal installation to ensure it functions correctly in a clean environment. Then test it on an existing site
Okay.
to observe its interactions with pre-existing configurations.
So we're essentially checking for both functionality and compatibility.
Precisely.
Does the recipe do what it's supposed to do? And does it play nicely with other elements on the site?
Exactly.
While automated testing for recipes is on the horizon, for now, manual testing is the most reliable approach.
It is.
It might be more hands-on,
Yeah.
but it allows for thorough verification of your recipe's behavior. So rolling up our sleeves and getting our hands dirty is the way to go for now.
For now.
Now, where can our listeners go to find inspiration and examples of existing recipes? The Talking Drupal episode mentioned a few resources, didn't they?
They did. The Drupal Recipes Cookbook on Drupal.org is an excellent starting point.
Like a one-stop shop.
Think of it as a community-curated
Your recipe inspiration.
selection of recipes complete with examples and documentation.
Where else can we find some culinary website delights?
Drupal Packagist is another great resource.
Okay.
It's a central repository for Drupal packages, including a wide variety of recipes created and shared by the community.
By the community.
Plus, you can't forget about Drupal core itself.
Oh.
It actually includes a number of recipes,
Okay.
particularly those related to setting up the standard profile.
So plenty of examples to learn from and spark some creative recipe development. It seems like the possibilities are pretty vast.
Yeah.
The Talking Drupal folks also touched on the future of recipes.
They did.
What's on the horizon for this exciting new feature?
Well, it's still early days, but the potential is enormous.
Okay.
The community is actively developing tools to simplify the process of creating and managing recipes.
Can you give me an example of what a more complex, industry-specific recipe might look like?
Imagine a recipe designed specifically for setting up an e-commerce site.
Okay.
It can handle everything from configuring product displays and shopping carts
Right.
to integrating payment gateways and shipping options.
Okay.
Or envision a recipe tailored for nonprofit organizations, streamlining the process of managing donations, memberships, and volunteer signups.
Recipes that are essentially pre-built website blueprints.
Yeah.
That's pretty remarkable.
It is.
It sounds like the Drupal community is really driving this innovation.
Absolutely. And that's what makes it so exciting.
Yeah.
The future of recipes is being shaped collaboratively, with everyone contributing their ideas and expertise.
It's a true testament to the power of open source development.
It is.
They also mentioned snack size recipes.
Yes.
Can you elaborate on what those are and why they're important?
Snack size recipes focus on those smaller, highly specific tasks or configurations.
Okay.
They're designed to be quick wins,
Gotcha.
easily shareable and reusable across different sites.
So bite-sized solutions to common problems?
Exactly.
I can see how that would be incredibly useful for developers and site builders alike.
For sure.
The Talking Drupal episode highlighted some tools that can make working with recipes even easier.
Yes.
What were some of the standouts?
Drupal Recipe Unpack is a composer plugin that helps manage dependencies for recipes.
Okay.
It essentially unpacks the dependencies listed in the recipe's composer.json file into your website's main composer.json.
So it takes care of the behind-the-scenes dependency management, making things less complicated for the user.
Precisely.
What other tools were mentioned?
They also talk about a recipe generator tool
Okay.
that helps scaffold out the basic file and folder structure for a new recipe.
Okay.
And for fans of the Event Condition Action, or ECA module,
Right.
there's the Drupal ECA recipe module, which allows you to export ECA configurations as Drupal recipes.
Wait, so you can take your existing ECA workflows
You can.
and package them as shareable recipes.
You got it.
That opens up a whole new level of automation and efficiency.
For sure. And let's not forget about those little helpers that can make a big difference.
Okay.
They mentioned autocomplete extensions for IDEs, like VS Code,
Okay.
which provide autocomplete functionality for Drupal recipes. These might seem like small features, but they can save a lot of time and reduce errors.
It's all about making the process of creating and using recipes as smooth as possible. It sounds like the recipe ecosystem is rapidly becoming more robust.
It is.
How can our listeners get involved in shaping the future of Drupal recipes?
There are a number of ways to contribute. You can join the Recipes Initiative channel on Drupal Slack,
Okay.
where all the discussions and collaborations are happening.
So it's a place to connect with other Drupal enthusiasts, share ideas,
Yes.
and get involved in the development process.
Absolutely. The Recipes Initiative also has a dedicated project page on Drupal.org.
Okay.
You can find documentation, contribute code, and even propose new ideas.
So whether you're a seasoned developer or just starting out, there's a way to contribute. I love that we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive into the world of Drupal recipes,
Yeah.
what they are, how they work, their advantages and limitations, and we've even glimpsed into the future of this innovative feature.
It's been a fascinating exploration.
What really stands out to you, dear listener?
For me, the key takeaway is the potential of recipes to truly democratize Drupal development. It provides a pathway for anyone, regardless of their technical background, to build and manage complex website features.
It's like empowering everyone to become a website chef crafting their own digital masterpieces.
Exactly. And with the community constantly pushing the boundaries with new tools
Right.
and expanding the recipe ecosystem, the possibilities are truly limitless.
So what will you cook up? What problems are you inspired to solve with recipes?
The beauty of Drupal is that your contributions, big or small, can have a real impact.
And here's something to ponder.
Okay.
We've talked about recipes as tools for efficiency and standardization. But what about leveraging recipes as a way to learn and teach Drupal?
Ooh, that's interesting.
Imagine a curated set of recipes,
Okay.
specifically designed to guide users through various aspects of Drupal configuration.
Like interactive tutorials built into the Drupal ecosystem.
That's brilliant. It's a way to demystify complex configurations
Yes.
and make Drupal more accessible to everyone. These educational recipes could walk users through setting up content moderation workflows, configuring caching mechanisms, or even creating custom modules.
Yeah.
It would be an incredible way to onboard new developers or help site builders expand their skill set.
Absolutely.
It's not just about automating tasks, it's about making Drupal knowledge more accessible and digestible. And as the Recipes Initiative continues to evolve, I'm excited to see how this powerful tool will be used for both practical applications and educational purposes.
It's a testament to the ingenuity of the Drupal community and the boundless potential of open source collaboration.
This deep dive has left me feeling inspired and eager to explore the world of Drupal recipes further. Now that you've had a taste of what's possible, what recipe will you create?
Yeah, I'm already picturing a whole library of educational recipes,
Oh, yeah.
catering to different skill levels
Right.
and specific areas of Drupal development.
Absolutely. It could revolutionize the way we learn and teach Drupal.
Yeah.
Imagine being able to share your expertise with the community.
By creating a recipe that walks users through a complex configuration process step by step.
It would be like having a personal mentor
Exactly.
guiding you through the intricacies of Drupal. I'm curious,
Yeah.
what impact do you think this could have on the Drupal community as a whole?
I think it could foster a more inclusive
Okay.
and collaborative learning environment within the Drupal community.
Yeah.
It would lower the barrier to entry for newcomers, empower site builders to expand their skill sets,
Right.
and even allow experienced developers to share their knowledge
Okay.
in a more structured and accessible format.
So it's like a ripple effect.
Exactly.
Spreading knowledge and expertise throughout the entire community. That's a pretty powerful vision.
It is, and remember, this is still a relatively new frontier.
Right.
The Recipes Initiative is evolving rapidly,
Okay.
with new tools and possibilities emerging all the time. It's an exciting time to be involved in Drupal development.
Yeah. It's a reminder that even in a mature and established platform like Drupal, there's always room for innovation and growth.
Absolutely.
This deep dive has not only demystified Drupal recipes for me, but it's also opened my eyes to the incredible potential they hold for the future of Drupal.
It's been a pleasure sharing this exploration with you
Likewise.
and our listeners.
And to our listener, we leave you with this.
Okay.
What recipe will you create? How will you contribute to the ever-evolving world of Drupal?
That's right.
The ingredients are all there. The only limit is your imagination.
All right. What did you think? Did the AI-generated thing work for you? Let us know. Anyway, to close off this podcast, I just wanted to remind you that this brief was a fully AI-generated summary, and we take no credit for the original content. If you want more AI-generated summaries like this, then let us know. Contact Salim Lakhani on Drupal Slack or LinkedIn. By the way, we're automating the entire process from start to finish, so these briefs can be generated hands-free and on schedule. You want something else covered? We're happy to do it for you. This brief was brought to you by Drupal Forge. Drupal Forge is the new #1 platform to try, demo, and develop Drupal sites, and it is completely free to use. It is a community-supported nonprofit platform run by volunteers, just like yourself. Come join us.